Greetings, everyone. This is Aurora, just to say that there's a miracle that happened in my life in the past few days. I've been talking Hebrew to God and Jesus at night. So now we are holding the power back from Aaron, who failed his covenant. He's at my tent now selling drugs with Muhammad Nasrallah, who already got my passport, Aurora, A200-044-107. He stole it in a kindergarten or something. After they killed me, they gave it to a guy, then they cut his dick, then they started to do plastic surgeries on him. Then if you can comprehend the consciousness of a guy who has to every day open a fake vagina that's not its own, to let the guys of his class in all the time as a male prostitute. That was his destiny. So as a guy, they forced him to be less than the other guys being a guy, and they turned that into a woman. And who did they stand by him? Shafiq al-Khazin, who's also a girl that has to act like a guy. So that's why they play Sheikh and Sheikha, because they've both had to say Shafiq al-Khazin is a female, but it has to carry a dick and walk around like a dyke, like a rooster. So as a girl, he doesn't get to be pampered, and so he has to look after a guy who's a male prostitute order and who's dumb. So because of that, they take that as a concession in the Freemasonic orders, and they think that's something very important, and they think that that's the divine plan. So now they rewrite all creation out of right action, because Aaron is a douchebag. He married Kate and Jane Gretzinger, thinking that if he places it in a room with me without an underwear for a month after it came back from Costa Rica, and then I had to leave the house where it stayed, that he would be able to, in the end, if he steals my passport as USPS, removes my file from my application and writes the address here that I'm at, because I wrote to USCIS, you can't trust anyone in Hilton Head. They're not going to give me the passport. You have to send me a live USCIS agent who will find me in person, say that's the person, verify, that's the biometrics we have on file on A200-044-108, but we now know that that's the person for the 107. There's only one person. Hoop-de-doo! And then you resolve the whole problem of the world. But I don't know that they have intelligence like that in USCIS if they're under the control of Aaron and his demon, which is the fate of the whole town. I write them letters, I do everything, but what's the point now if I know that Aaron will take the thing out, and modify the content? Unless I don't go to USPS and I send it personally here from a normal mailbox, I'll just send a personal letter and say what's the matter. That all the passports you sent and stuff are. I'm not going to USPS. There are a bunch of fucking prostitutes all the way up there. They all hate me, and all they ever do is wait for me to go fuck a bunch of fucking tranny terrorists, that are gonna steal all the heritage in the United States, and then they promise them a room in Beirut, Lebanon, in their palace to destroy America, because they don't have they don't even have the breath of American in it. They don't even have one fiber that vibes with freedom. They're all liberty fucking slave-ass Negroes. And all the Americans have done now is prove that they don't have one American in the whole fucking country. They're all sold out, black, dark aliens. You're very, very retarded people. There's no merging point. It's irreconcilable differences. You cannot merge with me. You cannot. It's been proven time and time again. So I spoke to God now. And, he was very magnanimous. He never shared about, his perspective on things. But I know that I changed my whole life just talking to him one time on the internet. I left Moss Creek. I booked a ticket. I started to go shopping all alone, hide my clothes so that David can't see them. Then David found them. He threw them in the woods with the spiders. I went and I got them all because I was going to leave the next day to see this God guy. I met God. That was it. I divorced my husband. I let go of all for God. So hold on. Yeah, I what I did with God, I swear, like, I've never done anything like that before. My flight here, David, is very powerful. He told them to not fly me. He told the airplane company to cancel my flight, stuff like that, so I go back to Moss Creek. I started to run around the airport. I found what connecting flights I can arrange. I pushed people. I went on the plane. I'm like, I don't care. No, I'm leaving. I went on the plane, and then I did another connection personally myself. I designed my own route to get to the airport I needed to get, to take a cab, go to the home I told him I would be at, so he can come fuck me. And, it was like instant. And then I was like in total, beyond love. I mean, I was obsessed about the guy. And then I went to this therapist once. I had gone to it like a few times. I left its office, and then I just like found out where the God works. I went to his office. I went in the elevator. I found his office. I went in, then I got him out. I started to kiss him in the elevator in front of all his bosses, everyone. Everybody knew I'm mad. So that's what I did with God. Then, unfortunately, he started to avoid me. Then I followed him again. Then I found where he lives. I went to his house, and I fucking swear I raped him. He's like, no, I'm not gonna fuck you. I'm like, yes, you are. Find the condom. There was one condom, it got lost, it vanished. I'm like, fuck to the nose. When I found the condom, I'm like, yeah. I fucked him so hard. I mean, he was my absolute obsession. And then immediately I could never, ever, that was it with David, immediately, that's it. I stopped fucking with him, we divorced, and then then Adon took over and started his Caitlyn experiment and whatever. No, it had started before, but then after Moss Creek, it relaunched. That's when the Caitlyn and the Bikram douchebags came in, and then they started to send Muhammad Nasrallah with Shafo, all because of God. Because I met God and I went insane. And then, the Adon played his part on me, stole my passport for a demon, But now I don't care, he's selling drugs at my tent, I ain't there. So if tomorrow people are gonna come from his cop station tell me I was there, no, fuck ass nigger, I'm here, bitch ass hoe. Fuck you. But they can't arrest who he's with because they all fuck him. They can arrest me because nobody fucks me. And then they will pretend that they all fuck me and shit like that. But I think now that God's in the mix, plus I talk to God, they can't do that shit anymore. Or Jesus, because I talk to God and Jesus at night. So, at BCGC I hadn't recognized them or talked to them. That's why I got sold out to Ayacuinto. Now that I both talk in Hebrew at night, even if I tell them no, of course I tell, as I told you, I tell Lucifer no, because I already have, I have UFO in me. I'm not going to goddamn sit and lie to you people and fuck a terrestrial. What the fuck? So, if you want me to pretend, I can't pretend about my covenant. If you think you can steal it for somebody who fucks a lot of people and becomes a black nigger, a demon, dark alien, it's not going to happen. I don't give a fuck. You can't steal my covenant. It's finished. If it has, skills and stuff, if you remove me out of the picture, you cut me, you think it's going to still have skills? It only has skills now because it hates me. Because they arrested me for no reason. That gives the reptiles a lot of power. That's why they keep a lot of bodies in prisons and in jails. Because it amasses power for the darkness. Most of these people in the jails and prisons are innocent. The people outside that put them in, they're way more criminal. They just put them in to keep being criminal to fuel their machines. It's known, it's in articles. Most of the bodies in American jails and prisons have done nothing wrong. Most of them. But they just keep them there because, when freedom hits, you gotta be free. You can't pay your rent and be a goddamn fucking douchebag and fucking be a Negro. You can't do that anymore. You can't be a fucking slave. But they want to follow liberty, fraternity, equality. They want to follow Muhammad and still be here. Because that's how it starts, their constitution. Oh, by the act of liberty, we now form freedom. No. If you can't feel freedom or frequency in and of its own, you ain't got it. That's all I gotta say. So about trying to cut me tomorrow or the day after, know that I don't have an ID and I most probably will never get one. Very, very most probably. I'm not a type of person that IDs like. So I'm not gonna have an ID because I don't have a dad, a mom, a brother, a fucking hooker, or a sister, or a dog, or a tranny, or a nanny. I don't got nothing. And I don't know what God can do because He has certain powers here. But there's something I have to do always, you know, and I'm not there. I'm out of axes now. So I'm gonna have to finish my product, my hair treatment. And it's 8:30. The Jesus guy, they're gonna bring him here at 11:15. But to me, you know, now that I am me, that I know what's going on, I see who we are versus the other kids. I see how the other kids manipulated us and everything like that. But I also see who I am also, because I'm also not part of like much of that. I have my own particularities, and I have to be able to, you know, assert to you that no, for sure I am not Jesus. For sure it's not knock and I shall open. That's not how it works. So you can't hold me accountable for that. And about the Aaron and his demon facilities and stuff like that, you know, it passed. Now he can't approach me anymore. So him and his cops, you gotta give it up. That's all I gotta say. Let it go. You stole my money, go sit at the tiki hut, drink it down. I know it's gonna hurt you because you only get pleasure if I'm hurt because you're a reptile, a cabal. Only if you've imprisoned me first and made me torture and make me scream and cry and stuff like that, then you can go have fun with my stolen money. But if I'm alive and I'm not bothering anyone and I still don't give a flying fuck, you can fucking shove every dollar up your ugly anus, then it bothers you. Just because I don't give a flying fuck, because I'm minding my own business, because I'm finding a way to get my own shit without needing my own money, because I'm so magnanimous. And if you don't want to actually serve me for face value, you will never get served. I will never open my door or nothing. I don't play with fucking retarded people. That's what I'm telling Habib, Fuad. God, that I don't appreciate games. I hate manipulation. I will never respect a cop who goes as far as doing what Aaron is doing. Stealing my tampon behind the scenes and USPS is ridiculous. No one out here. Right now. So that's about my story with God. Yeah, that's me and God. And then me and Lucifer, we don't really have a story. He's nothing. I mean, we used to when I was a child. Now I just talk to him in my sleep. I tell him to go get fucked elsewhere and he doesn't come in my mouth. And then Adon is nothing. He arrested me once, then he proved he's a retard and he's imbecile, and I don't appreciate that. Shafiq was just Papi's Werba, just completely retarded. Plus, when they come to me at night in wolf form and stuff like that, I'm way beyond that. I did a lot of things. I will never go back to that form. You know, you can't stick yourselves to a form in time and pretend that I'm going to come back like that. No. I'm beyond any of your expectations. So stop even rationalizing it. And, you know, you gotta have to let it go. Maybe God can help you. Hopefully it is so.